Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Modern Warzone Weekly podcast. Today, we have a very special episode for you. I'm sure you're well aware at this point because it's been all over the Twitter timeline by the time this is up on the audio side and everything like that. I've got my man Dirty Doug Dagnabbit with me as per usual, but today we have a special guest, Mr. ZLANER himself. Z, how are we feeling this morning, my man?
I'm feeling great. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a fantastic day talking Warzone, just like we always do. Z, I don't know how you're familiar with the podcast you are, but with Modern Warzone Weekly, we've just been like diving deep into like I was saying earlier, like off stream, we've been diving deep into like patch notes and state of Warzone. But like today, we're just talking about you, my man.
Oh wow, I feel so good. My ego is gonna be boosted. It's gonna be great.
Oh,
Yeah.
can it get any more boosted after that performance on land?
Oh my goodness.
Jeez,
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That turned out incredibly. I mean, the Baka Bros, they literally did like I was talking to Repulse about it when we were there, like after the tourney, and I was just saying how incredible of a job they did and with their team. And genuinely, how like almost I couldn't really think of anyone else that could have like that could host it a tournament like this and do a better job. Like they're so hyped up all the time, and they have such insane vibes. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I didn't even know they were gonna not be playing in it. Well, obviously Biffle did, but Repulse and Lucky, I didn't know they weren't playing in it, and they did a phenomenal job like doing that hosting part as well. You know, Lucky on the shoutcasting desk, and then Repulse walking around doing interviews and all that kind of stuff, kind of hosting the event. It was super well done. It was like the quality of everything was so good, and like the only possible thing they could change now to make anything better at all is Call of Duty actually dipping their feet in and getting involved in tourneys and stuff. And I don't mean just like from a prize pool standpoint. I mean like if they want these tourneys to not take 6 hours to play, 6 games. They need to implement some cool changes, just some some quality of life changes that I don't think would be that insane to get done. Obviously, I'm not a developer, so I always hate even saying that to begin with because I don't really even know what it takes to do those things. But it would be cool to see because I think the players are obviously super passionate about it because we're putting off all of these tourneys. We would love to be able to do it in a way that's not like it's not super tedious, and there's just a few changes that would make a world of difference. Being able to join the lobbies easier, they don't disconnect and drop, just almost like a code like in Fortnite or Apex. Making it so that we have similar to like Black Ops 2 days or even now I think like with CDL rulings in normal Call of Duty competitive, if they had stuff like that where you can go in and uncheck stopping power and well, I guess that's not in the game anymore, but dead silence and all those things, so that we don't have a list of rules that we need to like memorize, and they're always different in every tourney because people always get pissed off. Am I allowed to swear? I don't know. The P word. I won't say anything else.
You can say
you can say whatever you want. I drop F-bombs and everything, bro.
No, but if they were to just literally change a couple of things and have it so we could uncheck Deddy, uncheck maybe even pick the loot pool, so the loot pool is more competitive, so that when you're finding a gun, you're not picking up a ton of shotguns and stuff, you're picking up like MP40s and STGs. I mean, it would boost the level, like the viewership, it would boost it for the players. Everyone would enjoy it way more. And I know for a fact that like when it comes to competitive play, they could easily get a lot of competitive players on a call and hash out so much of this stuff. They could easily know what should be in and what should be out. And the cool thing with this is that like it doesn't have to do with the main core gameplay. This has to do with just competitive. So I don't think it's weird for the competitive players to be sort of having an inside conversation with them about making changes to this stuff, because it doesn't affect like the normal game. I feel like that's always weird to try to use that like streamer privilege to be able to go and do stuff like that, because obviously 99% of the player base doesn't care about half the stuff the pros care about. And so, that's always a weird little dynamic. But for this stuff, I think it would be like perfect because we have the ideas, we know what would make it perfect. And yeah,
Dude,
I'm actually so glad that he just dove into that,
Yeah,
Gojj, because we've spent so many different episodes talking about what you just said and in all the different ways. And everything you said, we agree with, especially the private lobby codes, number one. Number two is getting together like almost like a conference, like a consolidation of the people who compete in the most high money tournaments to come up with the custom formatting rules. That way that it doesn't change from week to week to week. I do think Repulse and Lucky and all of them did great, because I've never seen a mini royale that you guys competed in with no complaints, and I didn't see anybody complaining about this one.
Oh,
And,
dude,
the last thing
incredible.
I think that they could do, and that me and Gojj talk about a lot, because a lot of people don't know, but I shoutcast on the side, and Gojj does that pretty much as his mainstream career. Is that they have to absolutely work on a spectator mode similar to what PUBG H1Z1 had, to where you can just have a free flying cam and you can see all the different teams and their lines of sight, like kind of like CSGO has. That way, like if we're shoutcasting, like Z, if you and your duo are coming around a corner and you think you're only going to fight one team and there's actually 3 waiting on you around that corner, like that builds storyline moments. It gives us the ability to hype the crowd up and allows them to understand what's at stake with each individual engagement. Right now, you either have to have a very high production company who has every single different stream view up and swaps between them, and that's just really hard to do. I think as soon as we get that spectator mode, private lobbies are the way that you just spoke of. I think that Warzone competitive could really take off.
Yeah, it would just, I just know that it would literally take things to a whole nother level. It would be it'd be really incredible to see, because like I said, the players are really passionate about it, obviously, because we're hosting these events, we're trying to build a competitive scene. It would be really cool to see the actual creators of the game also want to build a competitive scene and do that. And I know they do to an extent, but to an extent where we don't have all these issues. No one we kind of stopped playing and slowed down on the 2v2 tourneys because of the during the time where those started to slow down. Obviously custom games came out and people started wanting to do those more, but it wasn't just that. It was the fact that the hacking situation at that time was so awful that we were resetting tons of games, and it was just easier to maybe do customs. But then we didn't know that customs was going to be riddled with so many bugs and be so tedious to sort of set up, to make it so that it's, you're waiting in lobbies for a very long time. That needs to be much more much less tedious. You need to be able to just have a much more like clean way of doing everything and making it so that, in between games there's very little downtime. In the game there is, like you said, an incredible interface for the people hosting it and being able to cast it with like you said, like PUBG, different games that have a really good perspective of what's going on. I think even Fortnite has a decent one as well, right? Fortnite has a phenomenal one.
Very good one.
And yeah, just those few things, and making it so that we obviously can edit what's going on in the game. Until that happens, in my opinion, like custom games are competitive. But I think they're, no joke, I think they're right now on a similar, I wouldn't say it's the same thing. It's, I guess both of it's kind of like on a spectrum of like which one is more competitive than the other. But like, no joke, obviously it's all pros in the same lobby, but man, there's just so many things that we have to deal with. So many bugs as well that just like, it's like, if you get it, oh, well, unfortunately, you just like, that just happens. Like, it's like you might get 0 points on this game because you run into this little thing. Or like I said, the amount of tourneys that take place, because we don't have a way to just like select what we want selected and set our specific settings. You run into people messing up in different tourneys, and it's hard to blame them, because the list of rules, people are going to understand, like the list of rules for a lot of these tourneys is humongous of what we can and cannot do. A lot of that muscle memory is just stuck in our heads from playing all day. And then the worst part of all is the fact that in almost every tourney, there's like a new rule or a couple of new rules, or sometimes a whole new rule set. And it's just like, to be able to keep track of all those, it'd be incredible if we had like some type of league, or it's like a set rule list. And it's just, oh man, that would be the dream, and it would be incredible to see. It really would be.
This is like the perfect intro to everything that we're going to talk about today. Like, it was beautifully broken down, because like Doug said, we talk about this all the time, and I think everybody in the community has had separate and then also together conversations about this topic, about what we need to make this, you know, so incredible, because we've seen glimpses of greatness along the way. I mean, World Series of Warzone, although it had its issues, like that is a glimpse of greatness with the amount of, you know, prize pool, of course, that was, you know, included into that, but also just the amount of viewers that were coming together watching competitive Warzone, right? Really quickly, I want to talk about competitive Warzone. I want to talk about the tournament scene. Z, I'm sure you know a lot of these numbers, but I'm going to walk through some of them because, you know, I feel like everybody that is in the stream knows who you are. But there might be a chance that some of our audio listeners haven't had a chance to watch your stream or anything like that. So I got to tell you guys about Z, a competitor and an entertainer. But let's look at some tournaments, because that's what we're talking about today. Z, you are 13th in the earnings list that is official, not really official, but on the website, with over $150,000 earned. In Caldera, you're currently in 7th on the earnings with $13,000 earned. Some of your more notable wins that I'm sure you remember, I'll remind everybody else from Optic Chicago, 100K Warzone invite, personally taking home 20K, winning that with Huskers and Destroy. Rocker Royale with Huskers and Symphony in September of 2020. Toronto Ultra in December of 2020. Huskers Hal day 1, day 2, and day 4 wins, which was crazy. And then the third place in the Baca Bros Wonderland. And there's a ton of more events. Z, I gotta ask you, while we're talking about tournaments, what has been your favorite tournament that you've played in so far?
Oh man, that's a great question, and it's so easy to answer now that I've been to Vegas, because that was, and it's crazy too, because this isn't even my favorite. Like, this isn't even like, well, I don't know if I can say that. I don't know. They're all great to each their own, but I don't even know if this is like my favorite Warzone like air or meta and time and like,
yeah,
like I don't know though. I can't. I feel like it's too soon to speak on. I really do. I really do enjoy the game right now. But as far as best tournament that I've ever been involved in, I think, yeah, the Baca Bros. I mean, that was just an incredible experience to get to meet a lot of the competitors and just friends that a lot of us are just friends that we play together on a regular basis, because this is a very casual game. I mean, that's another thing that people have to understand. You know, I love competitive gaming, and I will always love competitive gaming, but Warzone is definitely way more of a casual game. And so, you know, it's as much as I want to obviously see it succeed in competitive, it, you know, at its core, it's just a casual thing. So a lot of these people I'm really good friends with just from gaming, and now to get to meet them in person, and then obviously the event was just incredibly put together, like from a production standpoint, it was just, it flowed really well. I think a lot of people enjoyed it, and I know the players did for sure.
Yeah, I thought it flowed beautifully. It was I think another thing worth noting is that most people don't know what, there's always been LANs for events, and everybody loves LANs. I mean, the energy can't really be matched on an online environment that can be provided with a LAN with your opponents right there next to you. But you guys actually made history. That was the first ever Warzone LAN event. So that's a very good one to have as your favorite tournament.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I'm excited to see, and I'd be curious to know like y'all's perspectives on too. Like, you know, if we can take that LAN and make it into a full-size custom. Of course, we need some changes along the way, but if we could put that many PCs, kind of like I think back to Fortnite days, right? Like, having something that massive would be unbelievable for Warzone. And I think what you said, Z, was super important. Warzone is a casual game, but Activision certainly has been funding the competitive side. I mean, the amount of tournaments that we've had is, first of all, insane, but the amount of tournaments that Activision sponsored directly is also pretty large. The amount of money they've thrown into the tournament scene has been pretty substantial. And so the real question that we've been talking about already is why aren't they also including a lot of implementation from the development side to make those easier and a better use of our time? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like you said, all the customization options that you've wanted and we all want, it's just going to bring Warzone to a higher level and a higher standard to where people will actually think of it as competitive when it comes to like customs, etc.
Yeah, it's not like a complaining thing. I mean, it's something that a lot of people get they misunderstand. A lot of content creators or Warzone pros or whatever, and this goes for so many games. You know, there's a massive difference between complaining and like just absolutely being in love with a game, passionate about a game, wanting to see it succeed, wanting to see it do good. And so you're voicing your opinion on a regular basis because you know that it is the right, you have to get it out there. And I think this is one of those things, like, people could think it's complaining, saying all these things, boohoo, all these things aren't implemented yet, but they need to be. I mean, if we want it to be a super, super consistent and incredible thing, which it could be so, I feel like it could be so good and so big, but there's no way we could be doing these massive, for instance, like World Cups, like Fortnite, if the basics and the fundamentals aren't even there yet. Like, not having it set up so that the casters have a phenomenal interface to be able to spectate the entire match, like you said, in PUBG and Fortnite. All the glitches, all the things we've already talked about, and I won't even reiterate them, but you know what I'm saying. I feel like before that even happens, before the quote unquote fundamentals are done, which again, I don't make video games. I'm not an engineer. I always make sure I say that before I say this, but I don't know how I don't know how hard of a job that would be, or how long it would take, or how much team power it would take. But man, it would be incredible to see it happen, because I don't think it's like the most insane amount of changes. I think it's like, like I said, a few like user interface quality of life switches. But yeah, it would be incredible to see, for sure.
A lot of what goes on is that just coming from I've only been doing this whole influencer thing for 2 years now. I've seen people in the YouTube chat ask me, who's Modern Warzone? I'm Modern Warzone. I'm Doug Dagnabbit. The community seems to like to get angry at us when we complain, but then when we don't complain about the things that are wrong with certain aspects of the game, they say that we're being shills, or that we're not talking bad about Call of Duty. In reality, we should always be using our voice to lift up other people's problems and issues, and especially issues within our own communities, to the people who can actually make a difference with those. So I agree with you there. I do think that we should always use our voice to list what's wrong with the game, or things that we can at least think can be improved. As long as we do that from a standpoint of constructive feedback, and not just start name calling and saying other things about the developers and things like that, I think we're in a good place. But going back to Gojj's original question about the Baka Wonderland, and will we ever see something like this to like a Fortnite level, to where they had 150 PCs in one area? I do strongly believe that this was equivalent to a lot of people haven't been to the podcast before, but when Iron Trials first started, I pretty much said that was the test run for Warzone Ranked, to see how the mode would do with a higher TTK, things like that. I think that the Baka Bros LAN was the equivalent of Iron Trials to Ranked. Like, they needed a proof of concept first to be able to sell it to other people, to put the time, money, and organization in that it would require to have 150 PCs all connected to each other in one arena, and be able to justify that. So I do think that we will see a lot more LANs moving forward, and I do think they're only going to continue to get better.
Agreed. Yeah. I think the way they have to run it too, the way they did, the reason why I think there was no complaints with the format. I'm not a fan of Mini Royale, but that is because the Mini Royales that a lot of the pros have played so far are like 75 player lobbies, and it does not work. It does not work when you have a very, very small zone. You have 75 people. It's just very luck based, very RNG based. You have to hope that, it's a coin toss. It's a 50-50 if you land on one spot, and just like almost the whole lobby is in the same area because it's so condensed. You need to have it set, in a like we said, in a casual setting. Warzone 150 players, amazing. It's awesome when you drop into the full Caldera map, or like we've dropped into Verdansk. But in a mini royale, 75 is too much, and in a regular royale, 150 is too much. In my tourneys, we did like 90 or 100. I think that's like a perfect number. 100 players would be phenomenal for BR, and then for mini royale, exactly what we just did, which was what, 30 players or something like that.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I know a lot of people have been talking about that on the timeline too, about like tournament sizes, and that also goes back to like, let's just have a common rule set, right? Like, let's have every mini royale have 35, 36 players or whatever it is, depending on if it's trios or duos, and every big customs be like 95. But Doug, I'm gonna steal this question from you because I've got a lot of fun conversation pieces that you've seen about kind of your come up in your story. But while we're on this topic, I mean, you already mentioned it, Doug. We got to talk about Warzone ranked mode and what that would do for the game. I know we all three of us have a ton of opinions on this, but Z, I know you've played a good bit of Apex before. You've played through some Apex ranked, and you've seen this kind of system work on some other games. And I think you voiced your opinion on a ranked mode in Warzone. But just give us some thoughts on it. What are you thinking about Warzone ranked? What do you think they need to include to make it work?
Oh man, I think we had a phenomenal example of what like a perfect game release, and people have been talking about this now ever since it's been out. But Halo Infinite literally like did the probably one of the best game releases in a very long time. Like they released it with obviously all their tournaments ready to go and like lined up, or at least the roadmap for it, and then the ranked mode right off the rip, and people. I don't think that content creators or live streamers, like, I don't think that we are the make or break of if a game is going to be successful or not. But there is no question. I will not argue with anyone about this. This is just a fact that they have a massive influence, Look at Apex, for instance. Like, it had its resurgence, right? The second that people like Nick Merckx leave your game and go there, look at how many other streamers followed and sort of joined in. And what do you think their viewers are doing? Oh, I'm going to try out Apex. And then that is how the snowball effect takes place. And so we do have an impact. And I genuinely do feel that doesn't mean cater to us. Oh, only cater to us. That just means that, give us, a ranked game mode would, I know for myself, I know for many other content creators in the scene, would reignite a massive spark for a lot of us, because it would give us something to do every single day, grinding for a ranked, and not just pros, not just streamers, not just content creators, but anyone, casual players as well. A ranked game mode is so much fun. It's so much fun, man. Having a rank and being able to like grind that and improve and get better, and just seeing progression actually, seeing something actually happen is really fun. And I know the feeling. It makes it more addictive, even if there's no massive reward, even if the only reward is just legit status of like, I am this rank or whatever. Like, people love that. People love being able to be like, oh, I'm the maximum rank, or I'm in this elo. It's so much fun, and it makes it very addictive. I know that when Halo dropped, I was playing it nonstop. I still enjoy it, but obviously since Caldera came out, I've been grinding it a lot. But that doesn't mean I still don't have the itch. I mean, the Halo ranked is just so good and so fun that it makes you want to grind it. And I know for a fact that the same thing would happen on Warzone. No question.
Sure. Yeah, it's an interesting question, Doug. I know you've talked about it and you have a ton of opinions on ranked.
I don't even. This is our podcast, and I talk about my opinions on ranked. I tweet about my opinions all the time, whether people like it or not. So I'm not going to go into my own opinions. Z kind of answered what everybody already knows, and that's it. A ranked mode would reinvigorate Warzone in a large way. It'd be like a renaissance. Everybody would come back. People would start to play in different ways, because if you've kept up with Apex ranked, you do know that you can only get a certain amount of rep points per kill, and then it maxes out, and then you got to go for straight wins after that. So we'd see people adopting new play styles. It'd be an entire new like revolution for Warzone, in my opinion. I did see Joe say in the chat that he doesn't think that is what Warzone needs right now, and I kind of agree there. But I do want to get to you, Z, and try to get you to answer some of the more I don't really know the word to describe it, but some of the more pressing matters about Warzone rank that people want to know whether or not you would like it in the game. So I'm just going to ask you three quick short form questions. No need to get into big answers about them, about Warzone rank. Number one, do you think that it should be in the same format as Iron Trials?
When Iron Trials first dropped, I did, and I think it's a great, and I just like, I know you did, and a few others did, thought that it was like maybe their attempt at just testing what a ranked mode could look like. I really enjoyed a lot of things about Iron Trials. I loved coming back from the Gooj with my gun. I loved, obviously the increased TTK. There's a lot of it that I liked, but I also do I don't know. I also do like the way the main game plays. I'm kind of torn. I don't know if I would hate. I don't know if I would honestly care. I feel like either or
Yeah.
I would enjoy. But yeah, no, I think, and I did see Joe saying how he doesn't think it would help, like you said, and I want to reiterate on what we were talking about too. I don't even think it's like the make or break. I don't think ranked is like what is going to make Warzone this insane thing. I think that it's just, I think, I don't know, having an exciting competitive scene for people to get behind, I do think is very important though. I do. I think it's important in our physical sports. It's important in our esports. Look at a game like League of Legends. I mean, their esports is insane. Look at you know, obviously Call of Duty getting behind all your favorite CDL teams and watching the whole season through. People love that. And obviously now Halo is breaking records with their viewership in these tournaments, biggest tournaments they've ever had in the game's career right now because of all the hype, and they're just building off of that hype, utilizing a competitive scene that fans can get behind, just like they can get behind their favorite football team or their favorite whatever. People love that energy of having like a community like that, and it would be so very cool to see in a game like Warzone. No, it doesn't need to be the main focus. No, it's not going to be the make or break, because again, like we've talked about, casual players, the ones that the voices you don't hear 99% of the time, they are what make up most of the game. They, you know, obviously that opinion matters most, but it would still be very good to have, no question about it. I think it would be big for sure.
I definitely like your answer, and I do think that I don't think that anybody would care if the ranked mode was in the same format as Iron Trials, because essentially all Iron Trials did is besides the buy station rules, I think people would want to see that reverted a bit. But it essentially just raised the health pool, which essentially increases the skill gap. It allows you to have time to react and move and all types of different ways to address a fight. But that actually leads us into like the next big question, and that is your opinions on Caldera. Now, the timeline has been all over the place when it comes to their opinions of Caldera. Between day one and now we're going into week 2 of it. Everybody's opinions have shifted. Now, I'm not going to give my personal take. I want to know yours. Do you think that this map is better than Verdansk, number one? And number two, do you think that it plays competitively and would be a good map to introduce a ranked mode on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be great to introduce a ranked mode. I think it plays really good for like I said, that Baka Bros tourney. I think it was really incredible. I enjoyed it a lot. When Caldera first dropped, a lot of people were obviously asking my opinion on it, and I remember over and over again just saying, I'm not giving my opinion. I'm not giving it. Let me, like, you know, give me a week. Because at first, yeah, I was like, I was indifferent. I didn't know if I loved it. I didn't know if I didn't like it. But again, like I said, I just did not know. I needed more time. I've had more time now. I've played it a decent amount. And one of the opinions I had when it first dropped was because they changed the pace of the game, like the overall pace, by taking away the loadout early game. I said that they need to do one of two things. They need to revert that, or I'm totally fine with it changing. But the ground loot cannot suck. It needs to be consistent so that, you know, you don't feel like your early game is just a waiting game until you get your loadout. Or it's also, and it's just more consistent so that when you land, you have guns that you know are going to actually work and not be absolute dog water. And now they are. Like, no joke, the map plays night and day, in my opinion, to what it did just before they updated the loot pool. The loot pool was terrible, and now it is incredible. Like the MP40 is really good. The STG is really good. Many of the guns ground loot right now are super fun to use, and I think that actually made a big difference with. I think a lot of people were saying they hated the map, but I don't think it was just the map. I think they were saying they just, I don't know. They were probably just using the map they were saying the map, but they don't really know that it's more than just the map. I feel like the bugs, the like, again, the loot pool, like there were many things to go into it. I think right now I do enjoy the map. I don't know if I could say if I love it more than Verdansk or not. I feel like it's a tough question because for me, Verdansk is kind of just like very nostalgic anyway. I'm probably going to be pretty biased, but I think it's a great map. I think it looks good. I think it's beautiful. But just like anything, you know, a massive update like this, it has its bugs that need to be fixed. It has, you know, its loot pool, which they finally just sort of shifted a little, which feels really good. And I don't know. I enjoy it, and I'm being optimistic about it. I know one thing that I did in Fortnite when I was playing that game. for a few years is, when it was having its, downward spiral, it's still one of the biggest games in the world. It's absolutely humongous. But when a lot of the content creators were starting to sort of like dip away a little bit, like the Nick and Tim and a decent amount of them, I know what my mindset was like back then, and I'm trying my very best to not do that in this game. And that is, I feel like you can get into this super negative mindset where you're just hating on everything at all times, and it's very easy to slip into that, especially when the game is not in an amazing spot. But I don't think there's all just negative to look at. When you open up your social media, it seems that way. It seems like almost so many people do not enjoy it, or a lot of people are like, there's just, everyone has something to say about it. But I'm trying my very best. That's why I didn't want to give my opinion early. That's why I still, don't talk about it a ton. I'm trying to just invest some time into it, soak it up, enjoy it, and then have a really clear, good opinion on how I feel about the map. And right now, I enjoy it. I have fun with it on a content level, even a competitive level. I think it can do really well. The map is very fun, in my opinion. But yeah.
Smart man.
Makes a lot of sense. Doug, is that your rapid fires? Are you done?
Yeah, he pretty much answered all my rapid fires with his first rapid fire answer. I don't really have any more exact questions about that, so we're good to move on to the next one.
Well, I think Z, you've hit a lot of fantastic points that I know everybody. I mean, I'm even seeing chat going. It's like, yes, thanks for talking about this. And it's good to have you on here to hear your voice say this, a lot of the same things that a lot of us have been saying on the other side of maybe the more like grassrootsy side of saying, hey, a lot of these issues need to be fixed so that we can have a more competitive experience. But at the same time, what you said was so crucial. I thought being negative on the timeline constantly is not going to help anything, right? I think there's probably a more vocal minority too in terms of negativity. It's a lot easier for me to go on the timeline and complain about something than me go on the timeline and say, man, I really like this about Caldera. You know what I mean? So
that's how it
I
goes.
like your approach. I like your approach.
That's how it goes with anything. It doesn't matter if we're talking about gaming or not, or Warzone. I mean, it's so easy to complain about things. And again, like we said earlier, that doesn't mean don't complain about things. I think there are times and places to be voicing your opinion, and people again have to understand that most of the content creators and pros that you like, when you see them tweet something about something and you're like, oh my gosh, here we go again, they're just complaining, they are doing it from a place of love and passion for the game. They want to see the game not go to shambles. The only thing I'm saying is that sometimes it's a bit of a psychological warfare, in my opinion. Like sometimes you get into this like super pessimistic mindset every single day, every time you hop on the game, and then that just seeps into everything. You start tweeting about it every day. You start voicing. Whereas you sometimes maybe just sit back a little, soak it in. Try to. I don't know. I'm more so speaking from like personal experience with like I said, Fortnite and previous games, but that's kind of just how I
think Z's just trying to say that if you're going to complain and you have a voice, or you're a social media influencer or somebody that a lot of people listen to, just make sure that if you're going to complain, don't get caught in a pessimistic mindset, number one, and make sure that your complaint is a valid complaint and is not driven off of emotion, but is based off of logic and facts.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I like it. Well, hey, we've talked about the tournament scene. We've talked about a lot of stuff. So we can kind of keep, unless the answer is still a tournament, you can still answer tournament. That's totally up to you. We got to talk about kind of your history. What has been, and we'll start it with this, what has been probably the most memorable moment in your streaming career thus far?
Oh, it's not even you probably already know. I don't know. It's not even a question. A lot of yeah-yeahs, a lot of yeah-yeahs up in the chat right now. I am anyone that is just a massive Doc fan has to understand that every time I play with Doc, I am just a fan. Like I am a massive fan. Like I don't just like make this story up that like, Doc is this massive influence on me, and I watched Doc all through H1 when he was blowing up and as he was paving the way for many people like myself. I've always been a Doc fan. He is literally the coolest dude ever, and to be able to now say that I'm a friend with this guy due to what took place and how we met, and now that we play together on a decent basis, we're about to go play some games after this. It's still a pinch me moment. It's still so ridiculous, and it was definitely by far my most just it was the most incredible thing ever to happen. When he messaged me, I was live. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this is actually happening. And
tell,
it was
tell
just
tell the full story. I mean, I know you've done it, and you can keep it kind of like maybe the like medium length version. But and I know a lot of us have heard this, especially because we got a lot of Z fam in the chat. But I think this is such a good story to inspire a lot of people as well, because it wasn't like he just randomly hit you up. I mean, this was something that you helped make happen. It was something that you would try to prepare for, right?
Yeah, I tried to. I mean, I saw an opportunity and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna be weird with it. I'm not gonna try to be just some like cloud chasing weirdo. I try to make it very genuine. What took place was obviously due to the circumstances that Doc was under over the last last couple of years last year with the everyone knows about it. He was not able to play with a lot of people that he normally played with, and tournaments were coming up. He was looking for a teammate. Someone in his chat one day while he was live said my name, and I think they sent him a donation. They were just like, yo, check out ZLANER or whatever. And he said my name, and he read the dono out loud, and he said, yeah, okay. And from a streaming perspective, because I was at that time streaming full time, I had a decent amount of concurrence. I think I was streaming to about 1,000 at a time, and was partnered and was still doing it full time. It isn't where it was. It wasn't where it was right now, but it was still, it was still good. And so from a at least from that perspective, I was able to understand what was going on in his mind when he said that. He gets asked if I know how it feels to be every single day to hear people say, hey, check this person out, check this person out. I definitely know that it's tenfold for him. And what I mean by that is like, there's no way he was ever going to check me out. I mean, I doubt it. And I do not blame him. I do not blame him. And no one can blame him, because on a daily basis, this guy's getting hundreds of messages saying, check this person out, check this. It's like impossible for him to physically go. He'd have to literally quit streaming and go full time, checking messages to see all this stuff. And so I just knew that was not going to happen. But I knew also that because he said my name out loud, and because that it's something, it's in there, it's somewhere in there in his subconscious, like it's just back there, and I just need to maybe tap into it. So no joke, I was sent the clip. Someone said, yo, Doc was just talking about you on stream, and I was live at the time. And so I just messaged my editor and I said, hey, listen, throw a clip together real quick of just like maybe a couple of my 50 kill games, a couple of my 40 bombs, couple of funny hype moments to show him that like who I am and what I'm doing, and just a quick clip, like a minute. I think it was just like a minute. And show him saying my name on his stream. I posted the clip ages ago now, but just so he remembers who he's talking about. And so I posted that clip up and I said, hey Doc, if you need a teammate still, because he said he was looking for a teammate, if you need a teammate still for these upcoming tourneys, I think it was the Vic Star one at the time. Yep. I'm ready to go. That's all I did. I didn't like do anything else. Just posted out there. 15 minutes like after I posted it, he was in my DMs, and I was just losing my mind. I was like, I couldn't believe that it happened. Like I just could not believe it. It was really, like I said, it's cheesy and corny, whatever. It really is and has been a dream come true. And ever since then, it's just been incredible. And I've tried my best to just not. In these interviews and stuff, I do talk about it more. Like I say how I'm a massive fan of all that stuff. When I'm streaming with Doc, I suppress all that stuff because I know that he wants to put on a show and do his thing. But the whole time, whether or not I'm saying it or not, the whole time, I am literally just a diehard fan. I'm cheesing the entire time. I love it. It's just incredible. It's an insane. I don't know. It's insane what to make of it. I don't even know. But all I know is that I'm super, super grateful for this last year and everything that's happened, and being able to call someone like Doc a friend. It just doesn't even make sense. It's really amazing. I'm very grateful for it.
So cool, man. So cool. And you spoke about how you started watching him during H1Z1. That's when I first started watching Doc. And I legitimately thought that he was like really like, I didn't realize he was playing a character until I'd been watching him for a whole year. And I kept telling my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's constantly smashing stuff. He's always yelling China #1. Like he was all, dude, something about his persona back then. It's just great. And I definitely get what you're saying about like how it can be weird trying to collaborate with other content creators who are bigger than you, especially ones that you look up to as like an icon. I get what you're saying about how when you play with Doc, it's all business. You know what I'm saying? You're just trying to entertain along with him. You're not playing a fan. I've actually been in a bunch of tournaments with you and Doc. And the first time I heard Doc and Tim's voice in game, bro, I almost passed out. Like, I've been watching these guys since I was a kid. So that was crazy cool to me. But at the same time, I didn't want to, like, in the in-game lobby voice comms be like, Doc, I'm your biggest fan. But I was like, yeah.
I mean, even I, when we had our very first session playing together, practicing for the tourney, I even then told myself, like, I'm not like right out of the gate, I'm not saying anything about being a big fan. I'm waiting all the way until the very end of the stream, until we played our last game, we're saying goodbye. That's when I'm going to be sappy. That's when I'm going to be whatever. Because one thing that I also knew that when Doc reached out to me that I knew was very important was Doc was not just looking for, because of the circumstances and everything that took place, with the snakes, I knew that, whether he was saying it or not, I feel like, he didn't just want someone that could compete with him. I knew that when he DM'd me, I was like, I just need to be who I am and be the way I am on stream, because I know that is going to speak volumes to him. I need to match his energy. I need to, when I stream with the Doc, I don't just want to be known as like the the pro player that plays Warzone and just competes with Doc. I wanted to be known as what is now dripping in heat. And I knew that the only way that was going to possibly happen was going in there and doing what Doc was going to want from me. I've seen streams where he needs to carry the energy, where he needs to, basically just be the one that keeps the energy and the hype going and the narrative and all these things. And I knew that when I play with Doc, I need to be on his level. I need to be hype. I need to be loud. I need to be exciting. I need to do all these things. And luckily that comes naturally. I feel like I am that way. It wasn't me switching who I am. But I just needed to make sure that I didn't become this insane, like fanboy the entire time and just be like super nervous and all these different things. I just needed to go in there, have fun with them, crack jokes, have a good time, try to make it so that he doesn't feel like he just needs to like carry the entertainment side of things and sort of just be able to play off each other. And that's what happened. And I think I'm so happy that was my mindset going into it, and not just be like this dominant player. Because that was just gonna come naturally, I knew that I just had to entertain and be with him and do that. So I think it worked out well doing it.
Yeah, absolutely worked out well.
I think one of the cool parts watching that story unfold live. I mean, I was in there for most of all of that, just kind of floating around while it was all happening. I've heard this story been told probably 3 or 4 times from you. And what I love about this whole scene is that there's a lot of people in this space that think all it would take for me to succeed is that big break. But I think the big takeaway from this story is, Z, you were able to not only match his energy, be an absolute just dominate the Warzone competition that day as well. I mean, you played so well that day, but also you already had something going. Like you said, you were already averaging 1,000 viewers. You already had the content. You already had the energy. And then it was just the next puzzle piece. It wasn't like you caught some massive big break that was the only reason you're successful. You were already successful to some degree, and this has helped your career, of course, going forward, but only because you were the one perpetuating that, which I think is really important to remind people that it's not just about getting quote unquote lucky. And in all reality, it wasn't even luck, right? It was your pursuit.
Like, I could play with XQC every day, and that doesn't mean that any of his viewers are going to come watch me, because I'm nowhere near as entertaining as him. But Z took initiative, and when he saw the opportunity, not only did he just go in the game and play with Doc, he made sure he was prepared to give on a performance, made sure he was prepared to entertain and match the energy that Doc gave. And that's something that people need to be aware of. You need to treat your if you're a content creator and you're trying to collab with people that you look up to, or just collab with any other content creators, you need to come prepared, and you need to treat it like a first date. You're trying to get to that second date, and that's when things really unfold.
Classic Doug, bro. Doug's always getting romantic on us in here.
There we go. No, it was great. No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was definitely the mindset.
I want to talk quickly about your community because, your community is something special. We got a lot of ZFam in the chat. ZFam follows you everywhere you go, whether you have to go over to the Snakes for a tournament or you're wherever you are, they follow. What do you think kind of has made your community so special? Is there something that you've done? Is there something, part of your persona that you put off that you think attracts people? Like, why do you think the community is so tight?
I think it mainly has to do with the fact that we just don't, I don't think we're fake. I don't think we're trying to, I'm trying to be as genuine as I possibly can be so that my community can be as genuine as they can be. I want them to be, whenever people are coming to the chat, I'm not trying to like bend and fold and try to shape myself into what those viewers want me to be. I'm going to be who I am so that the viewers that are there I'm going to attract the people that I actually want in my community, the people that are this way, the people that are going to follow me wherever I want to go, the people that aren't there for the wrong reasons. I've always said that with my community. So I think that plays a big part of it. I think obviously, meeting Doc and having like so many of the Champions Club are now ZFam members, and that was incredible as well, because the CC is just like a the champs are just like a force as well. It's just an insane force, and that took things to another level as well. When a decent amount of them were just like we're becoming fans and joined in, that just strengthened that similar vibe that I think that the Champions Club and the ZFam have. So yeah, no, it's really crazy.
That's cool, man.
It's obvious gravitate towards you as a person as well. And one of the things that showed me that is some of the different times I've seen you in the headlines is because of your loyalty and the way you treat your friends. And like when you went on you went on the Purple Snake platform and you were dressed up as Doctor, like that truly shows like you are always thinking about your friends and people you consider your friends at all times. And a lot of people just miss that whole point and think that people watch you because you're one of the best. No. It's because, number one, I've never heard this dude say a negative thing in my life. Like, he's positive. He should have been born in the 70s. And number two, he doesn't encourage any type of negativity from anybody else. All he wants to do is spread positivity. And that, I think anybody who fosters a community around that can see success if they're entertained.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the kind words. That's definitely what we're trying to do for sure.
Well, the chat's been blowing it up about you singing, and you don't have to sing necessarily, but I do want to talk about the singing for a second. It's one of the questions I wrote down was that, like, I think a lot of people know your story that are here, but you made an appearance on Canada's version of The Voice. You have 2 songs that you wrote and performed and are on iTunes, Take It Easy on Me and Tell Me. And you were also on, I think you won the FREX Young Talent Search Contest in 2013 that I may or may not have seen a video on. Bro, let's talk. I mean, just briefly, let's talk about your singing. And do you think you'll ever pick up the mic again and get back into it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I love music. I really do love music. I think that's one of the things that made streaming like a no-brainer. So like my whole life, ever since I was like, I started playing Halo with my dad when I was like a kid, like I don't even know, like 5 or 6 or something. And so I've always been absolutely in love with video games, addicted to video games. And now a good addiction, or it's turned into a good thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so addicted to video games that I'm not going to get anything done if I don't make it my career. So I need to make it my career. And so I had been doing music for over, like for almost all my childhood as well. When I was like, I think like 13, I started doing coffee houses and little like singing competitions, stuff like that around my local area. And then I just, started grinding that a ton and for over like 10 years straight. And, about that. And, all that time I was gaming. Every time I wasn't doing that, I was gaming all the time, just always gaming. And I always knew that was like my number one passion. And I loved entertaining as well. That was like, they were like neck and neck, like entertaining and gaming were like my 2 favorite things. So I was like, it's a no-brainer to put those 2 things together and go and do some streaming. And I think a lot of the things that I've learned from just performing on thousands of different stages, like in universities and different festivals and stuff like that, from like with music, definitely translated heavily into live streaming and helped with that. So no, I definitely will. There's no question. I mean, I'm picking up the mic every day. I usually do a little, you know, a little vocal run every now and then for the stream, you know. But the vocal, I mean, I just woke up for the interview, so the vocals are not, you know, they're not probably there and warmed up right now. But or else I'd, you know, I'd give you something and make the nips a little bit stiff. But I just no, I definitely will. I actually, something I really do want to do at some point, because a lot of the stuff that is like music that is out there for me is a lot of like when I was a kid, when I was like 16, stuff like that. Like it's like pretty old stuff. I would love to either through Optic or whatever, now that I've built sort of a name through myself, not through music but through gaming, I would love to release music. I would love to release some kind of single and work with, I mean, what's something that's super cool about the
you and Dog.
About exactly. It's something that's super cool about the gaming world is that it is so many people that are not just so many people get surprised about this, but I do not get surprised about how many celebrities or musicians or sports players that I've gotten the chance to meet up and play with, just because they're huge gaming fans. There's so many people who love video games and enjoy video games. So, you know, seeing how many people are linked up with different, you know, producers or different stuff like that, you know, who knows what could happen. I mean, I know for a fact that I would love to release some music, like a single at some point, do some type of song, whatever that may look like, who knows. But I definitely would love to do that and push it out there, you know, with Optic and with my agency and all that kind of stuff. It'd be super fun to do. I think people would enjoy it. I'd make sure that the product was phenomenal. I would make sure it's not just like some, like, I'm not just trying to wing it. I'm not just trying to become like, I'm not just like this content creator that just wants to try singing and try making music. I've done it. I've done it for a long time. I'm a big fan of doing it. I don't do it anymore really out in the open. I do it as more of a hobby, but I would love to bring it more. I can't say never, but you know, not right now to the forefront, because right now I love what I'm doing, but definitely have it in the mix. You know what I mean? Have it maybe every now and then, release a little track or something. Who knows? But
come on, baby, some heat.
Yeah, who knows?
I love that.
I would love that. I would buy that album first day. First thing I would do though is hide my wife.
Oh.
It's comedy. Well, look, Z, we have a lot of things we could talk about. We're kind of coming to the end of our time. I got two more questions I want to bring up, and then we can kind of you know, give some closing words. You brought up Optic. We have to mention it, and there's a lot of things that we can talk about in your career. We can talk about DBZ, we can talk about Destroy. The man's a legend. You guys have been killing the tournament scene together, but let's talk about Optic for a second, because I know that Optic is obviously a huge milestone, but also something that you've really dreamed about for a long time, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Just the same thing goes with Doc. Like this was something that I grew up just like so many other kids. When I started playing Call of Duty with Call of Duty 4, and then, you know, Modern Warfare, all the Modern Warfares and the Black Ops games, and I think I maybe stopped around like Advanced Warfare or something like that. I did play Advanced Warfare, but that's when I started to slow down with it a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like going into high school, I was starting to socialize a little more, gaming a little bit less around that time. So yeah, but what I'm getting at, digressing insanely, I grew up watching FaZe, watching Optic, watching these iconic teams, and always dreaming of someday being a part of an organization. And to now be a part of the org that, in my opinion, is the biggest Call of Duty org out there. Like, the Green Wall just has an insane fan base when it comes to, and not just Call of Duty, but obviously their Call of Duty scene is massive, and their presence at LAN events is massive. You know, with the Green Wall, it is just you know, I mean, there's no other way to say it. It really is just a dream come true. It really truly is a dream come true, because I know for a fact, as a kid, I actually genuinely would go to bed sometimes after gaming for 16 hours straight, dreaming of being able to make content like Nadeshot was, be able to compete like Scump and the boys were, I was following this scene heavily. And now that it's kind of come full circle, I'm back on Call of Duty. I'm back on the controller. I'm back to doing this, and now I'm being able to make it happen on this level. I don't know. It's incredible. I'm very fortunate, very happy about it. So it's definitely been a very pinch me year, like all year long. There's been shit that's going on that I just don't even believe, but I'm very happy about it. Sure.
Definitely
That's
something
awesome
to be proud of, brother.
Yeah, it's been a fun journey to watch. I can only imagine it has been a whirlwind of the last like 18 months or so, with Warzone's kind of entire career. All right, last question. We got to bring up your brother, old ZLANER himself. I want to hear about your relationship with him, because he's been popping off, man. I know if you guys don't know, in audio listeners or in the stream, like, he does content creation competition, has been putting up some crazy clips recently too. Definitely caught my eye on the Twitter timeline, etc. What's your relationship with your brother look like? And did you know that he was gonna kind of, and I want to use this in a very good way, a positive way. He's not trying to follow in your footsteps. He's doing his own thing, but
100%.
also, pursue the same career path that you are.
That was one thing that I know that I knew for a fact, whether he wanted to tell me it or not. I knew that there was going to be, in his mind, some type of pressure. And I know for a fact that when I spoke with him the first time about doing this, I was like, dude, please do not think of it any way like that. Do your own thing. Be your own content creator. Do not allow stupid people to say anything. Just do your thing. Because growing up, my gaming partner was my brother. We played everything. Whenever I'd be gaming out on the love seat on a massive tube, like flat screen TV with insane input delay that I didn't even know about as a kid, trying to play on a competitive level in my underwear. I was doing that, and then he'd be sitting right next to me on the laptop playing like RuneScape and just gaming. We gamed together all throughout our childhood, and he has always been a phenomenal gamer as well. I think Jake is also a genuine and awesome person as well. I think not just from a gaming standpoint, but just from who he is. I knew he would attract a fan base. I knew that he would do good, and he's been doing it full time now for a while. He actually at one point sort of like picked it up and then like dropped off with it for a bit because of school and work and life and just different stuff. And then recently picking it back up over the last few months again, and really getting into it and getting into it like insanely. He is loving the game. Like, he's actually really enjoying Warzone, and you could see it because he's improving like on a regular basis. He has nasty clips. He likes to.
Yeah, he does.
He doesn't play. He doesn't like play the game on like he doesn't like do all the competitive scene stuff, but he does like just super hype clips because he absolutely loves sniping. So he snipes all the time, drops insane clips. And I'm super happy he's doing it and not allowing like just weird, I don't know, just like a weird vibe of thinking that it's like some type of shadow or something. It's just like, it doesn't need to be that way. He could do his own thing. I mean, he's already doing a killer job with it. He has a great fan base that absolutely love him, and I love him. I support him, and I know it's super awesome.
That's super, super cool. I know there's a few people in this space that have siblings that are also in the space, and I know it's kind of you want to make your own path, but also support each other. So it's been fun to watch his come up as well over the last few months, and continue to do this kind of alongside you rather than behind you. So hey, Z, man, this has been a ton of fun. Doug, you have any like last kind of questions that we missed that we want to hit?
I'm getting this broadcast in my ear. I didn't know this was possible, but in my Google LED 1080p 3, apparently Doc's waiting on Z in the arena. So I think we need to wrap it up.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he might have just went live.
Nothing. I really don't have any more questions. I do want to thank ZLANER for coming on. We've talked in DMs before, but I've never formally got to meet you, Z. You've always been a wonderful presence in the Call of Duty community. I appreciate everything you bring. I also appreciate your takes and the way that you take your time to form an opinion. I know it bothers people that I tweet mine so quickly, but it is very nice and refreshing to hear how grounded you are even after the massive success you've seen over the past couple years. People seem to always think that fame and fortune, or whatever you want to call it, gets to people's head, but I literally think that you could be a billionaire and you would still be the same guy. So it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. You guys are too kind. I'm blushing up. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. I had a great time. Thank you so much. It was nice meeting you guys. Over like over the phone and not just through or over the Discord, not just through DMs.
Yeah,
It'll land
absolutely,
soon,
man.
baby.
Yeah, excited about the future of Warzone, excited about the future of tournaments and all of that good stuff. Z, hey, everybody knows this already, but go ahead and plug your socials, all the different social medias where people can find you.
Oh, you can. I'm OnlyFans.
Sure. What is that? What is the tag for that? Is that
you don't want to
.com or like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's like Z Harry Toe 420 69.
Z's Gooch Dingleberries.
Sure.
Exactly. No, I'm on YouTube. You know, it's just like ZLANER on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter is at ZLANER official. And not just at ZLANER, but all the other ones are at ZLANER. So yeah, we're everywhere, baby. We're everywhere.
I love it. Z, thanks again, my man. Hey, chat, everybody listening in on our audio podcast, all that good stuff. Make sure you support the channel. We're going to do more interviews like this, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys in the next one. Z, you're the GOAT, my man.
Thanks, guys.